Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chris's Collection. Today, we're continuing with the L's, mainly the Legacy of Kain series. But welcome to Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 2. Or, as it says here, the Legacy of Kain series Blood Omen 2. You can't really read it too well because of the SD. Oh, what is going on here? Extras. Oh, Soul Reaver 2 trailer. Okay, just some trailers. Alright. Assisted? Sure. So, I I had known about this game, and it's weird. I've heard a lot of random things about this. Because I always thought, okay, this game takes place chronologically after uh, Blood Omen, right? Because this is Blood Omen 2. And that, after this would be Soul Reaver, then Soul Reaver 2, and then
tossed upon tides,
and then what is it? Soul Reaver. Defiance. But from what I understand, because this was done by an entirely different studio, and you could tell because just like graphically, it looks very different from the previous ones. I think Amy Henning.
So soon.
Oh no, this was the same studio, huh? I think Amy Henning had something to do with this. I'm not sure because I know the original was from Silicon Knights. They did Blood Omen, and then I don't know how, but the rights for the Legacy of Kain series was moved over to Crystal Dynamic, I think, or Eidos or something, and then that's when they made Soul Reaver and then Soul Reaver 2, and then they said, all right, let's make a sequel, Blood Omen 2. So I always thought that Blood Omen 2 was, it took place in between Blood Omen and Soul Reaver. But apparently some people are saying that in Soul Reaver 2, because of all the time travel shenanigans that Raziel is doing, that it creates that this is like a little alternate speed bump that happens, that kind of like changes everything. So that in the original game, in Soul Reaver, like really you should play it, like it's like an alternate universe, like X-Men Days of Future Past style, where like yes, Blood Omen is still canon, everything else is canon, but this happened also, and originally it didn't, So like Timeline A would be Blood Omen, Soul Reaver 2. Then Raziel does all these time travel shenanigans. So Timeline 2 would be Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaver, but different because of this game, and then Soul Reaver 2, and then Defiance. I don't know. For simplicity's sake, I just say, look, this takes place after, Blood Omen and before Soul Reaver. I had got this game. Oh God, when did I get this? I think it was here in Miami. I was visiting my dad, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh man, the new Legacy of Kain, this is so cool. And I thought it was so cool. I was so excited for it. And I think I even tried to convince my dad to go to a Blockbuster. Yeah, those existed. And to rent a PS2 so I could play this. Because basically my family, we were in the process of moving. But my mom and dad wanted my sister and I to finish our school year so things wouldn't be so complicated. So before we matriculated, we stayed there. So my dad and my grandparents came to Miami and basically set up shop. So we were like visiting what would be our future house. And so I had this game in my possession, and I'm like, oh man, I have this brand new, like, thank you for buying me this, but you realize I can't fucking play this. I'm like, come on, let's go. And they said no. They're like, we're not gonna fucking do that. So we didn't, and I had to wait until we came back home. And the second I came back home, I played it, and you know what I remember? I remember getting really pissed at a boss battle. And I had like a real temper problem with video games. It's gotten better. Like I'll get mad. I definitely will not throw anything, but I will get pretty pissed. But then I'll be like, if I get pretty pissed, I'm like, okay, I need to stop playing, and I'll just turn it off. to cool off. But back then I didn't have that, and I remember throwing my PS2 controller, and it hit. I had like an AC vent on the floor, so it hit the vent, and when it hit the vent, the one of the shoulder buttons broke, and basically it just didn't work. And I was like, oh fuck. And so,
Excuse me.
what? The lever? What lever? Oh. And so it didn't work, and I was pretty upset about that. And I learned a lesson after that, because PS2 controllers were kind of expensive, man. Like, you know, I mean, buying any replacement controller is expensive, and I try to make sure everything, you know, stays in put. But yeah, that's pretty much the only memory I remember of this. The game itself, it was okay. I mean, you know, nothing really. You could not play this, and it would not affect. Highlighted objects can be activated by pressing. What? Highlighted objects. What highlighted object, Ben? There's no highlighted objects here. What? I can't see any. Highlighted.
Did you hear something?
Why are they mad at me? What? Oh, okay. Sorry. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. There's really not much to talk about this game. I don't think this game, like I said earlier, I really think you don't have to play this. Unless, like, if you really liked Blood Omen, and you're like, I kind of want to hang out with Kain more, then yeah, get this game and, you know, whatever. But if you, you know, start off with Soul Reaver or something and you play Soul Reaver 2, you don't have to fucking play this. Like, just move on to Defiance. That was the next one, and it's a lot more entertaining. Anyway, guys, this actually, I don't know. I'm kind of getting into this, but I'm really getting into the whole idea of revisiting Legacy of Kain. But that's my story, and I gotta move on. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back later this week with the last Legacy of Kain game that I have, and that was released. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care.